Welcome in. Oh my goodness. So I had a wonderful weekend in Baltimore, Maryland, where they hosted the CIAA basketball tournament. And I really was thinking about it. I need to do a whole history on the CIAA. It is the oldest collegiate um, sports conference in the United States, and it involves HBCU schools. And so I really need to do a whole history on it. And I'm sure a lot of you may, a lot of you may have heard, but then there's probably a lot that have not heard about the CIAA. And for the past several years, they have been hosting it in Baltimore. Now they also have it for the different sports, but basketball happens, the last week of February, first weekend of March. And it is a big deal. It's almost like a winter homecoming. Most schools have their homecomings on campus in the fall of the year, and those are great. It is truly going home. But I look at it like the winter homecoming. And I see Loving Myself is in the building. Welcome in. Good morning to you. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm just sharing a little recap on my weekends in Baltimore. I got there Thursday night, and I love Baltimore, and I forget how much I love Baltimore. Baltimore was actually a choice for us. It was between the Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens, and we had went with the Panthers, but I would not have been mad to be in Baltimore. I actually got excited because I have so many family there. My line sisters live in close proximity to there, and closer to our families. When at that time our parents still lived in New Jersey and New York, and so I was really excited. However, I think I mentioned it before. I know I have, where I always wanted to live in North Carolina, just didn't know where. So the idea to be able to move to Charlotte was just as appealing. And this is where we decided to grow our roots. But this weekend I was in Baltimore, and it was lovely. Listen, Charlotte used to be the host for the CIAA for several years, and I should say many, many years. And Charlotte is a very interesting city, um, I don't know. I don't think that it understood the value of the CIAA, and they looked at it more as a party. And we had a lot of day parties and things like that, but it was all about scholarship. It was about education. It was about the sport. And I don't think that they really looked at it as such. And so at homecoming, I had never been to the tournament since it had moved to Baltimore, but I had asked a few people at homecoming this past October, what did they like different, because I know that many always would come down in Charlotte when it was here. And then, I know that they also attended it in Baltimore. So I said, how do you like the CIAA being in Baltimore? And they said, we love it, feel so welcome. It's so warm and inviting. And I was like, wow, really? And I wanted to experience that. And so, and I wanted to just go to and just enjoy. Again, like I said, it's more like a winter homecoming. I see TWP Popcorn is in the building. What is popping? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. And so, when we drove to Baltimore, and we got there late, we got there about 11 p.m., but already I could feel the welcome. They had the huge screens outside on the building, the big marquees saying welcome to the CIAA. They had videos, they had banners up. You just felt like this is for us. This city is opening their arms to embrace us. And I was just so excited. And so Friday, I had connected with one of my dearest sorors. She was actually the dean of our line, and her and I shared the same number 16 and Sweet 16. And, we hung out at the Fan Fest. So they have this whole situation at the convention center, and it's called the Fan Fest. And they have vendors there. They had, different things that you can do. Just I can't even describe it. They had roller skating in there. They had just a lot of different things, dancing, just a lot of things. But they also had Battle of the Bands. Now, you may be seeing some of my shorts around it, and I really wouldn't call it a battle of the bands more than a band exhibition because first of all, the bands didn't bring their full band with them, and it was on a stage, not in a stadium, so there was limited space. So that's another reason why they didn't bring everyone, but it was so good. Now, at first, when my soror and I sat down, and it was in one of the rooms or one of the sections in the convention center, they had it kind of sectioned off and everything. And we were excited. We was like, okay, the on the agenda, on the schedule, it said Battle of the Bands, and they have live performers as well. And they were popular performers, but more popular, I want to say, with the young crowd. Some of the songs, were very familiar to me. I know one of the entertainers, his name was Lloyd, and a lot of his songs I was familiar with, but we were like, what kind of battle of the bands is this? Is this a battle of the bands, like the singing bands, the groups, or what? But I do remember when it was in Charlotte, y'all, when it was in Charlotte, Big Daddy Kane, Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie, rest his soul, they performed at the convention center, and all of this is free. And you just out there vibing. It's like it's a homecoming, it's a family reunion. We all cousins. It was such a vibe. And so this time around, they was catering more to the younger crowd because on Fridays also well, I think on that day it was more geared to the high school students and the middle school students, because a lot of schools were there in the local area and they were bringing their students there to experience the CIAA and to also get more information about the schools that are involved in that tournament. And so it was cool, and they were so happy. My soror and I were looking at each other like, you know this song? I don't know this song. I never heard this song. But the young crowd was all rocking to it, singing, and I'm like, well, I guess it's real popular. I got to get in touch with that. But it was a lot of fun. So we didn't think it was really going to be the school bands. We really thought it was just going to be the musicians singing and what have you. So eventually we walked out of that area of the convention center and said, let's go look at the vendors and everything. And I know Friday was boycott. We were boycotting big box businesses and such. And so listen, I was in Chocolate City, the original Chocolate City, and I knew there were going to be black businesses there, of course, in the convention center. The vendors there were black owned businesses as well. So that's how I did the boycott. Look, I already had plans. I already paid for my hotel way in advance before the boycott was situated. It was non-refundable, and I really wanted to experience that. And I knew that I would be able to go there and still participate with the boycott by supporting black business. Listen, I grew up in a black-owned big brick and mortar business that my parents owned and operated for 40 years. I know the value of black business. I understand the importance of supporting black business. And in real life, we can boycott for sure, but we still need to have viable places that we people of color own, that we can also get the things that we need. And I was really happy to find really good coffee shops, where we can get our little breakfast. And y'all, I have backslide. I know, I know, I know. Oh my goodness. I did so good with not drinking coffee anymore, but I've had so many things going on. I had to have that special shot of espresso every now and then. So you have to give me grace. But we did. We found some amazing black owned coffee shops in the Baltimore DC area. And I say DC too because we ended up going to DC on Saturday. Now, I did not go to the game on Friday, unfortunately. The game started, I believe, on Tuesday, but I got there late Thursday night, and Friday, my school was in the semifinals. And I was going to go to the game, but I was like, you know what? That it had been a long day. Again, I had gotten in late that night, the night before, and I needed to rest. I really did. I'm not as young as I used to be. 55 double nickel in a building. We have the want, but we may not have the will to always do what we want to do. So went to the hotel, and when I got to my room and just sat down, it was almost like my whole body just said, "Yup, you need to just stay your tail in here." I literally could not move. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is just I did too much on Friday." And so, unfortunately, I didn't get to see two of my line sisters came into town on Friday, and I love my line sisters so much. And I wish I was able to, hug them, but I could not move. But the one earlier, she was there. She was a speaker at one of the luncheons that one of the schools was hosting. And when she was done, I was so in the mix with the band. I couldn't even imagine how we were going to connect. So I at least got to hear her voice and we got to speak. But wait, let me go back to Battle of the Bands, y'all. Y'all have to catch my shorts. It was so live. So listen, my soror and I, we thought it wasn't going to be the real school bands playing. We thought it was just those, the entertainers singing and such. So we was like, you know what? Let's just go out and check out the vendors. So we walked out and we were looking at the different vendors. They had different businesses from different parts, not only Maryland, but different parts of the country recruiting. They also, just had paraphernalia, school paraphernalia, Greek paraphernalia that you could buy. And so it was, hold on. Do you hear that? Okay. That sounds so weird. Oh, let me see who else is coming in. Hi, Black Guns and Gardens. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Top of the day. So listen, we were walking around and then I started hearing the bass line of bands. And I was like, hold on. I said, I think the battle of the bands is going on. And so she was like, no, that's not the bands. That's the, music, whatever. And I was like, no, 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 wait. Listen, I think it's the battle of the bands. And we went back over there and y'all, it was so good. There were only like 3 or 4 schools, I want to say, that performed, but they performed. They were dancing, they were jamming, and I was capturing it because I wanted y'all to see. And just the joy, the that just the oh, it was just so much fun. And so I did some shorts and I do have a long version that I'm going to put together. But I do, as I'm thinking about it, want to give you more history behind the CIAA and the great athletes that came from that, the scholars that came from that. Just it's a wonderful experience. If you ever have a chance to go and experience it, I highly recommend, especially if you're in the Maryland area. Now it's over. It was over Saturday night. So again, I was going to go to the game, but then I thought twice about it. I knew it was going to be just way too much activity for me. And I was hopeful that my school would have won the semifinals. We did win the championship last year, so I was hoping it was going to be a repeat, but unfortunately, we lost against Virginia State University. So my alma mater is Lincoln University, which is the first degree granting HBCU in the country. We were founded in 1854, y'all. 1854. That's before the Civil War. And so we didn't win, unfortunately. So ended up not going to the game on Saturday either. Um, Saturday was a lot of hodgepodge of things, and I ended up going to the National African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Now, I've always gone to museums in D.C., love the museums, the way that you can walk on the mall and just experience. If you've never been to Washington, D.C., the museums are free, and it's amazing that they're free, but they are. And so every year when I would go, and I saw when they were building the National African American Museum, but when it was complete, I never was able to get tickets. It was so hard because everyone, wanted to go. But now, because I guess I don't know, I guess it's just wound down. So many people have already gone because I told people, like, I'm going to go to the museum. And most of them live within, like, maybe from Philadelphia to Virginia. And they were like, oh, we've been, we're not going to go, whatever. And so I was like, well, I've never been, so I wanted to go. I was able to get tickets. It was no problem. I mean, they have different time slots, and it's like, 100 and something tickets available, 200 tickets available. So it's not it's still well attended because I believe it's like 7 floors. Definitely did not get to see all of it. And let me see, um, this past Thursday, Melanie had her Black History thing at her school, and they had the AKA Zetas, and it was cool. There was another um sorority there that I wasn't familiar with, but I was looking for the Q dogs. All right, the Qs are my brothers. So I'm a Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated. And that's cool that they came. And I know some high schools here in Charlotte even invite we have Johnson C. Smith, which is part of Charlotte, well, in Charlotte. And I know one at least had them perform. They just walk the halls playing down the halls, which is so cool. Yes. Oh, you're drinking coffee now? All right, look, I'm about to get some. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Loving myself. Jill's comfort zone is in the building. Hello, good morning. Top of the day to you. I hope you're doing well. This is the first Monday of March. What? Who knew? You know what? Today is my brother's birthday. Today is the 3rd, right? Yep. Today is my I have 2 older brothers. They're 8 and 9 years older than me. And so my youngest of the 2, today is his birthday. I know periodically he comes in and checks out my videos. So shout out to you, Ace, my brother. Thank you. And I love you so much. Hope you have a great birthday. Why did I say thank you? That's so crazy. But I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. I have to definitely reach out to you today for sure. So, listen, went to the museum and got a great park, at least I thought, in front. We was parking. I was like, yeah, we could park here. Y'all came back at a $25 parking ticket because I saw the sign where we parked and it said taxi stand. When was the last time you saw people standing around waiting for a taxi? I'll wait. When? They really need to take that sign down. They know people don't use taxis no more. They use Uber or Lyft. And I was like, because when I saw the sign, I said, I see it, but it was still a parking space, and I still paid. I had to do the thing on my app to pay for parking. And I was like, what you mean? They need to that's a scam. They need to definitely take that sign down. That's ridiculous. But went into the museum, and the people at the information desk were my sorors too. So I was chopping it up with them. It was cool. One of them went to Virginia State, and I can't remember the other school that the other one went to, but it was really cool talking with them. And y'all, it was so windy on Saturday. I don't know where you're at, but if it was windy where you're at, put a 10 in the chat. That thing right there, that wind was torrential. I said, hold on, what's going on? So we went in, and I love the building. The architect is amazing. It's so beautiful. If you haven't been, look it up online, the National African American Museum in Washington, D.C. It's a big brown building. It looks like it's made out of iron. It is remarkable. It really is. We started out in the basement and worked our way up to probably the 4th floor, I want to say, because we got there kind of late, and they closed, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. And I enjoyed the information that was shared. I was really interested in seeing the train that's in there, because the train was actually put into the building well before the construction was complete. They almost had to build the building around the train because it was so big, and they had to place it in the middle. Um, but you know what? I don't know if y'all remember years ago, probably around 2011 or 2010 maybe. Probably like 2010, 2011, Tavis Smiley had a traveling exhibit of artifacts, African American artifacts. And it went to the DC area because we saw it there when it first came. And then when we moved back to the Charlotte area, it was at the Harvey B. Gantt Center, who he was the first Black mayor for Charlotte. And he has a beautiful center here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But the exhibit was there. It was a traveling exhibit. So it went all around, I want to say maybe the world. I'm not sure. But he had things like the door from Goree Island, the door of no return. He had, different artifacts that, maybe villages used to cook with. He had outfits that popular African American singers wore during their performances, like James Brown and Aretha Franklin and such. And Mahalia Jackson and the cell that Martin Luther King Jr. was in. Just a lot of great things. And this exhibit moved from place to place. I can't recall the name of it. If you know the name, please put it in the chat or leave me a comment after this and let me know. I can't, and I should have looked it up because I know it's still, you can still search it. So I was really looking forward to this museum to have those types of artifacts in there, things that were dug up, that things that people have in their family that was passed down generation after generation. And it's just like, wow, that was Harriet Tubman's shawl. They did have a handkerchief that was Harriet Tubman's, but you just want to see things that you typically don't see, that people just loaned to that museum so that people can view it. And what they didn't have a lot of that. It was more words and images, almost like a gallery kind of thing. They did have things, but it wasn't the original. They had the replicas of things. And they had now this thing got me really emotional, the Emmett Till section of it all. And, they only let a certain amount of people go through at a time. Y'all, walking up to the casket, it felt like I was walking up to a funeral procession. You know how when you walk into a funeral and you walk down and you go down to view the casket and the person, or their remains in the casket? I felt like that's what we were doing, and I got really emotional. And then we get to the casket and there's nothing there. Like, I don't know what I expected, but listen, they have the Blacks in Wax Museum in Baltimore, Maryland, that we went to years and years ago, and that museum was phenomenal. And I was saying, Dad, we probably should have went to the Blacks in Wax because it's been so long since I've been there, at least probably like 12 years. And then I said, no, I needed to be here because I've never been to this museum. But I wish we would have went to the Blacks in Wax Museum, just because you know, even though those aren't the original things, they've done such a phenomenal job with recreating people and scenes out of wax. I know there's a whole section in the basement. Hey, Vicky's World, good morning. Good morning to you. How are you? Let me see. Y'all talking in here? I'm just talking away. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, okay, your daughter's principal is a Delta, so I know that she is running that school. I'm sure she's doing a phenomenal job. Yes. And she went to Hampton. That's a beautiful campus. It is. It's very historical. They have the Emancipation tree on Hampton's campus. It's this beautiful, huge oak tree that they say Abraham Lincoln went there to tell the slaves in that area that they were free, that they were emancipated. Yes, everyone is speaking. Vicky, it's good to see you. You in Jill's comfort zone. What? We from back in the day, tribe. What? Back in the day, pre-COVID and everything. So, the museum, it had some good moments, and I did capture some of them. But again, walking up to the casket, I got emotional. But then you get there and it's just like you're escalated, and then you're kind of like down, like this it. Um it was nice. It just seemed very conservative, let's call it that. The museum just seemed very conservative to me. And, I don't know, I hear that they're going to do some renovations, maybe change up some of the exhibits in there, I'm not sure. But then again, supporting Black business, met my cousin in Bowie, Maryland for dinner, and y'all, it was so delicious. I need to remember the name of these places that I ate. I need to like create a little list, almost like the Green Book. We need to start that Green Book. I don't know if y'all saw the Black History Month video I did on the Green Book, and that's the book that was developed back before the Civil Rights Movement, way before, and it was a book of places that people of color could eat safely, drink, um, stay in hotels, get gas, and things like that all across the United States. And it really helped when you were traveling. So, okay, this is a safe place for me to stop with my family or whatever. And we almost need to have something like that again, because, if we want to support our people and what we have going on, then we need to, know where they are at to be able to support. But y'all, if you are a black business, run it like a business. Do that thing. My parents, their business, people didn't know if it was people of color that owned it or non-people of color that owned it because they ran it professionally, and that's how we have to do. If we're open, be open. If you know something is coming through to town, stay open a little late. That's your high season. I was shocked that it was hard to find certain things open on like later on Saturday. Like, some of the coffee shops that were black owned in the area around the convention center were closing at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock during the CIAA? Are you mad? Are you crazy? What? That's your high season. You have to know for your business when is your high season. Your high season meaning when you're going to have the most business. That might mean you have to train up some cousins, train up your children to work in the business to help during those times. Oh, you got to come home this weekend. It's CIAA, all hands on deck. That's when you make your money. And so when you have those slow times, that money will sustain you through those times. So understand the peaks and valleys of your industry, of where you're at and what's coming. And when something new is coming or when something is coming that's huge, you need to be open, period. I don't care. If you want to go to the CIAA, guess what? You can't because you making money. That's your money maker time. I was just amazed that people were closing. Even the restaurant we went to, even though it was about 20 minutes away from the downtown Baltimore area. But y'all, they closed at like 8 o'clock. Like we were the last people in there. What you mean? And the food was delicious. The ambiance was beautiful. And I was just like, what we doing? We need to have more grocery stores. Where are the groups of people, the investment groups, and know about those food deserts in your community? Why where's the grocery store? If they could put up an Aldi's, if they could put up a little, even a Trader Joe's, we could put up a Trader Johnson, Trader Williams. Trader Trader Jones should be black owned too, but Trader Johnson's way, Johnson and Johnson grocery store, and have that. If you are into, bodegas, or if you into convenience stores and you're black owned, get your group together and get one of these empty warehouses. There's so many different empty stores. Commercial property is, listen, not too many people get into it, but when you get in it and you got it, you good. So get together and grab up some of those commercial properties. You could probably get it for little to nothing because it's probably been sitting since before COVID, empty, and people want to do something with it. That's what daggone all these is. It's just like random buildings that they just put the groceries in, and there's nothing to it, but it's a great place to go grocery shopping. And I'm just surprised that they aren't everywhere. So since they're not, we need to get some daggone Williams, Jones, Johnson grocery chains going on and putting it into our communities that are food deserts. Right now is the time. Because if we are trying to boycott something, where we going? What we doing? Where's the black owned gas stations? And listen, and this is another thing, understanding who are the franchisees. That's another way that we can show our support. Okay, yeah, we're gonna boycott, but there's black people that own McDonald's, Chick-fil-A franchises, like all different types of I don't eat at McDonald's like that, but I'm just saying, who are they? Where are they at? And let's stand up and even support them to show, like, yeah, these franchisees are killing the game. They are worth investing in. They are worth having as a franchisee because they're gonna bring the people. Our money speaks more than anything. So we have to be more strategic with it. We say we're not going to do something, but then we still have to do something. So what are we doing? Where are we going? Where are we buying? Where are we buying it from? That's the thing. And make it nice. It don't have to be crazy looking. Like, come on. Make it nice. Make it presentable. Make it decent. Make it where people want to come in and spend their money because they know that you care, that you're spending your money. Where are our black owned hotels at? Where are they? Why we don't have to have hotels that look crazy. Listen, I had to report so many hotels since COVID. It hadn't even been funny because I'm like, what you been doing with your PPP loans or PEE loans or whatever you call it? You're supposed to be using that money to renovate, to upscale, to make your environment, your building, your business better. And I can't tell. Mm-mm. I can't tell. It has to be more than just the lobby. It has to be the upstairs hallway, the inside of each room, upgrading. A lot of hotels, the nice ones, are definitely upgrading. They take it out the tub, making it into the walk-in shower, just period. They know you ain't coming here to do no tub soak. What you need the tub for? Just give me a big, nice, beautiful walk-in shower. Especially like in a random hotel that you're only going to spend 2 days in. What you doing? What you doing? So people need to gather. My daughter was really inspired this weekend in particular, and she was saying, you know what, I'm gonna start an investment group. And years ago, my husband and I were part of an investment group. And see, there's different types of investment groups. There's those that come and pull their money together and they collectively do major purchases. They collectively are that the backing for any business that they might want to go into. They are strong together. But the one that we were part of was about knowledge, and that's why it was called KIP, Knowledge is Power. And that's because we always gathered new information that we were able to share. We were think tank partners. We would talk about opportunities. We would talk about strategies. We always played Cash Flow by Robert Kiyosaki together. And during the game, we would discuss those opportunities, be it stocks, bonds, business, investing in business, real estate, commercial real estate, residential real estate, all kinds of things. And it gave us that, like, it strengthened our muscle. It strengthened us to want to be able to do something, to say, you know what, we could do this too. And I was pregnant with our third child, and I remember it was our anniversary. And so it was like right now. It was like right now, as a matter of fact, almost. And this is when we started looking at it, because my anniversary was last week, right? And so I said, no, my husband said to me, what do you want for our anniversary? Because we have been going to this group, every month, and they've been coming to our house, and we rotated homes, and we would just gather together. We were learning more. We would read, bring back what we read. We would talk to people, have people come in and talk, and we would just really discuss, deep dive, talk about how it made sense for us. And I told him, I said, for our anniversary, I just want to buy our first rental property. And my baby was born March 21st. That next week, March 28th, we was in the lawyer's office signing our papers for our first rental property with a 1-week-old baby, a 20-month-old baby, and a 3-year-old toddler. And I said this before, and how the lawyer was like, I've never seen babies this young at a signing before. Listen, we bringing them with us. That's why my 20-month-old that was there, that's why she's killing the game in real estate. She's been around it all her life. So don't be afraid also to take your children. Talk about what you're doing around your children. They may not be part of the conversation. They may not be, interjecting ideas into the conversation, but they hear you. They are exposed. They become aware, and it becomes part of their DNA. And so definitely, I agreed with my daughter. I was like, I think that's dope. I think that's a wonderful idea to have an investment group where you'll come together. And because she's 24 years old, who knows, they might pull their money together. They might just get that encouragement from one another to do bigger and better things. And my youngest is a financial planner, so she's killing the game over there. She understands what. So yeah, it's just about having those real conversations no matter where you're at. And I'm proud because a lot of people in our group are doing great things. I know one was an ophthalmologist, and she ended up buying her building for her practice. And upstairs in her building, it's a commercial property, and upstairs she rents it out to other businesses, nonprofit organizations. It's in walking distance, like kind of catty corner to the Panthers stadium. So her parking lot, she has season pass holders that park and pay her to park in her parking lot. What? That is a dope investment. So really think about it. Right now is the time to do it. We have to get out our heads out of the sand and look up. Shake that sand out. Shake it out and say, okay, what can we do? Who do I need? Who's on your team? Who's your lawyer? Who's your accountant? Who's your financial planner? Who are your people that are going to also support you? And I'm not talking about they have to be your friends or anything now. My daughter's going to be one of our financial planners for sure. But I'm saying, you want to make sure that these people that you do have as part of your team are going to be great contributors, that they understand, they know their craft. They're not into this, that, and the other. They know a little something about this. No, they need to, that's what they do. They need to be like that. So it's a good time, y'all. Don't try not to be discouraged. Be encouraged about it. And also, when you get a chance, go to Baltimore. I had a great time. It was beautiful there. We were right there by the Chesapeake Bay and Camden Yards, and just so historical. And that's the thing too with Baltimore versus like Charlotte. Charlotte is an old place, yeah, but you can't tell because they've taken down so many of the old beautiful buildings, and for gentrification and what have you. And um they have all these new buildings, so it looks like a brand new southern city. It doesn't have that character. Baltimore has that character, where it's just, oh, nostalgic. You see these beautiful buildings, and at least me, I'm speaking for myself. You might not be like that, but for me, I look at older buildings and I wonder what happened there. What was going on there. They had a plaque there with Babe Ruth's name on it by the Orioles Stadium, and right over there. It was just, I don't know. I just loved it. I just I wanted to walk around, but it was a little too chilly. The weather was nice, but look, we left Charlotte, it was like 70 degrees, and we get there in in the 50s. I still didn't need a coat. All I needed was a sweatshirt or, a heavier top, but it was still too cold to walk around by the Chesapeake Bay like that. And Saturday, the wind was just torrential. It was just, the wind was crazy. What in the world? So, but it was all a great, great time. I didn't get to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do for the CIAA. I didn't get a chance to hang out at our host hotel. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a room in the host hotel. What? Now, if you are there representing the school, going for your school or whatever, I highly recommend you stay at the hotel if you can, at the hotel that they're hosting. But I did go there and they decorated it so nice. I loved it. Oh my goodness. The balloons, the colors, just everything. I'll probably put some clips of it in a long version video that I'm putting together, recapping the CIAA. I see everyone is talking. Let's see. Vicky's World is saying we are looking for a new accountant for the company. Yes, we entrusted with two Black-owned companies and didn't have a good experience. And at this point, we have to invest with a company that will not hurt you. Exactly. Listen, that's what I was saying too. When we were looking for a new agent for my husband during his career, we really wanted to go with a Black agent, but the circle of influence that they had just wasn't wide enough. And, unfortunately, we had to go with the other. But you have to do what's best for your business. You can't hurt your business trying to be supportive. And so for Black people out there, when we are in as an accountant, as a lawyer, as an agent, as a whatever it is that you are, be the best. Be the best. Don't try to shortchange it because, well, I didn't have that same No, you could be the best. Make sure all your information is clear, crisp, is on point, is professional. My goodness. We can we are a brilliant people. We can do amazing things, but we cannot let excuses determine how we show up. Show up in a professional manner. I'm not saying you have to, change who you are. The way I'm talking now is how I talk. It is what it is. I'm just saying no matter what. Because I know what I'm talking about. But, we have to really show up and be our best at all times. We just can't do it. We can't slack. We shouldn't have to put up with it. And that's the thing. We'll go to and support a Black business, and then if it's subpar, we'll just say, well, we're not gonna go back. But we went. We went to the grand opening. We went to, eat there once. We went shopping there one time. I brought one thing from them. That's not how you grow as a business. You want your people to come back. You want your customer, no matter who they are, Black, white, red, brown, purple, yellow, gold. You want them to keep coming back. You want them to refer people to your business. And the only way they do that is by your product, is by your customer service, is by the ambiance that you set, the tone that you set. I don't care if you in a community that is so run down. When they walk into your place of business, it's an oasis. You need to make it sure it's clean. Make sure that everything is, your inventory is straight. What? That's the thing too. The restaurant we went to was beautiful. The food when we got it was delicious, right? How about they talk about they ran out of rice and we had to give them a few minutes to cook more rice. I'm like, now I don't cook or anything, but I'm thinking rice don't take that long. And my daughter, she ordered a vegetarian bowl and it had like rice, cauliflower, sweet potatoes, and some kale or whatever. Her thing took the longest to come out. It was like, and then they had they had a note, they had like a little I have to get ready to go. They had this like note and it was framed, right? And it said something to the effect. I think I might have taken a picture of it. It said something like, you can't stay here longer than 90 minutes because we need the space, or other people, give other people a chance to eat. So don't stay more than 90 minutes. Well, if you don't give me my food within 90 minutes, how am I leave? Where I'm going? It took the food so long to come. Oh my goodness. But when it came, it was really, really good. But at some point, because you're talking, you almost don't want to eat all the food because air might start coming in because you're talking and you're just not as hungry. Maybe that's the thing, maybe that's their goal. I don't know. But they ran out of rice. They ran out of something else because my cousin wanted something and they was like, nah, we don't have that either. Listen, I get it. I get it. This is times are changing. It's interesting. Patrick Sargent is in the building. Hello, good morning to you. And let's see. So Vicky's asking a question. Um, we start patronizing black owned everything. Where are these businesses getting their products? Are they finding black owned suppliers? That's a great question. So that could be a whole nother situation for us. I look at B Love's life and how they have a warehouse. She's manufacturing her things. I'm sure she's also mass producing it with another type of company because it's sold in other places like Amazon and such. But we got to look at things like that. We could be the man. Why can't we be the manufacturer? Why can't we be the this and the that? And, you know, if we have, what's it called, logistics, and if we understand logistics, if we understand procurement, if we understand, um what's it called, um supply chain management, then we should be able to have our own thing. As people are unfortunately getting laid off and they've had those types of occupations, those types of positions, start your own. Figure out how to start your own. Where can we get those things mass produced? How can we get them? Can we mass produce them ourselves? What does this all look like for real? Somebody's doing it. Why can't we do it too? And let's see. And Vicky's saying, I have supported many black owned businesses, but the the prices are extremely higher in their prices. And unfortunately, this day and age, you have to shop you have to shop where your money will go the furthest and be more economical. And that's another thing. Listen, we got to understand, it can't be a money grab. Whatever you're doing in your business, you can't look at it as a money grab. Because if it's a money grab, it'll be one and done. Again, like I was saying, people will go that one time and they won't go back because they'll say it wasn't worth the money, it cost too much money, or it was subpar, just whatever the case. You need to make sure that you are priced competitively, of course, but you don't want to outprice yourself. You don't want to go too low ball, because I know some people that if it's inexpensive, they'll be like, it ain't worth it. That's just their posture. They be like, something must be wrong with it. But you definitely want to be competitive, but you don't want to kill the game. You don't want to kill people's pockets with it as well. And so, you know, pricing is a challenge for many business owners, especially first time business owners. They like, I don't know if I should how much I should charge. And then some people lowball themselves for sure, especially consultants. I'm like, no, charge this, but then there's some that the price points are crazy. I don't understand how they doing that to folks, and people are paying it like, but then they paid that one time and they wonder, why am I not getting a referral from that person? Why after the contract was over they never renewed it? Because you were overpriced. and they didn't see the value in it. At least let's see the value. I know with my parents and their business, y'all, I mean, they they did good with their prices. They had different ranges. Just like the memberships on YouTube. When you have the ranges, some people have 2.99 memberships, 5.99 or whatever. Have different levels, but each level give something more, because the more you pay, the more that you are going to require. You want that value add. And so make sure that whatever you have different levels. Even for coaching, I have different levels, because everyone may not be able to do it at this level and get this type of service, but there's still good service at a lower level. Maybe it's a time frame. If it's, for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, how are you leveling it up in that way too? So, y'all, I'm going to get ready to go, and keep looking out for my shorts regarding CIAA weekends. And I am going to do a long form, as well as give you some more history on the CIAA. And I have another, and you know what? I was trying to do the Black History Month every day in February. I just couldn't do it. It was taking so much. And you know what? It just blew me away when Bobby Marshall's grandson came into one of my videos that I did of his grandfather, and he said that he really appreciated it. Like, he thought I did a great job with the content. It just really blew me away. And so all of that paused me, and I had so many other things outside of YouTube going on, and I didn't want to just throw something out there. You know what I'm saying? So I do have some more content regarding our history that I'm going to put out there, regardless if it's February or not. It's history all 365 days. And so I'm going to be sharing that information with you. Hopefully you'll find value in it and enjoy it too. One, it's so dear to me, because it's my line sister, actually, and it's what her and her daughter are doing and have been doing and are doing phenomenal. They're the only people in the country, the world even, probably, that's doing what they do, how they do. And I'm excited to share it. And that's part of our history. So I wanted to do it justice and not just, quickly put it out there just to have it out there. And that's what happens sometimes when you get into, it wasn't a challenge, because who you challenging is, it wasn't a challenge. It was just something I wanted to do. But again, even if it's something I want to do, I want to make sure I do it well and give everyone that I am sharing about their justice, their just due, for sure. So everyone have a blessed day. Yes, Vicky, thank you. And loving myself and wellness with Frugal Mama just walked into the building, I think, or maybe you were here and just listening in. Thank you for tuning in. And also, loving myself, I mentioned her. Let's see. Black Guns and Gardens was here. Jill's Comfort Zone. And just everyone, if I didn't mention your name, thank you for tuning in. It's been my pleasure. Remember, every day, practice hard. Practice so hard that when you get in, you will always play to win. I am Coach Sherri.